6 p.m. Eastern time here on the drive-thru. You can watch and listen to us over on the Pick Dogs and Sports Chat Place YouTube channel. And let's take a peek at our green room as we have our Pick Dog cappers getting ready to give out their plays, putting in their final touches to their picks. And I'd like to introduce the co-hosts today. And I'm joined tonight by Dana Lane and Mitch. And, of course, Dana, how are things going? Of course, we've got an NFL game between the Bengals and Browns kicking off at 8 Eastern.
Yeah, always good when you get an NFL game on the docket. And then a lot of things were good today. I mean, I fully expect the Mountain West Conference to say we're going to start playing football pretty soon, which is great. I wish they would lead and not have to follow, but I guess you got to figure out what California wants to do. But Governor Newsom's already said that, it's no problem. You can play here. So I wish they would join Air Force and get going. And of course, there's been some Major League Baseball expansion talk today. So that was kind of exciting to hear that. Of course, we think that Vegas is always in the mix for all of that.
Absolutely. And of course, Mitch, the Big Ten is planning to play college football. There's some talk here that college basketball will tip off sometime around Thanksgiving. And of course, that's some good positive news.
Yeah, there's a lot of positive news out there. We've got NFL football tonight, and that's positive news. A month and a half ago, 2 months ago, we would have killed for any kind of talk that we were going to definitely have an NFL football game tonight. And, I said, this is, you're always kicking around, when there's things like that. It's like, I'd watch the Bengals Browns game, right now. And it's like, well, don't forget those times, too soon, because tonight that's exactly what we have. I think, the NBA game certainly a nice alternative, but, it is Bengals Browns tonight. So watch your money. It's you're not going to see anything there that's going to say, man, this was a really good bet. That's for sure. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see Big Ten football. It's amazing how all of a sudden there's a miracle cure in the Big Ten, and also, of course, college hoops starting at Thanksgiving is a good sign.
Absolutely, no doubt. Let's take a deep dive into this Thursday night football game. Cincinnati and Cleveland here. Cleveland laying 6. Total sits here at 44.5 points. And, of course, Joe Burrow coming off his first game. A little disappointing there that things didn't turn out right with that field goal miss. He did miss some throws. He'll definitely improve. But, Dan, it's always tough for a rookie in his first short week in this spot.
Yeah, and we talked 100 times about how the improvement is going to be from week 1 to week 2. But as far as this matchup is concerned, I mean, we haven't seen, NFL football in quite a while, so it's always intriguing. But it's interesting because you talk to people around the organization and people that, kind of have a hand in the team from day to day. And, there's some pressure on Baker Mayfield to not only perform well, but to win tonight. Don't forget that Case Keenum is right behind him. And, I don't know if it's going to happen tonight, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Keenum get some snaps if things don't start going well for Cleveland. And, of course, the relationship between Odell Beckham and Baker Mayfield is kind of up in the air. I mean, it's the body language was not good going back to the huddle last week, and I just don't think that they are on the same page the way that the organization hoped that they would be. I think that if they don't win tonight, it's going to be interesting how they move forward. But Joe Burrow is in his second game, like you said he was in position. Put his team in position to beat San Diego. So it's got to be a plus in his column after one game. The Browns have a ton of injuries going into this game, especially in the secondary. They're down to the third-string nickelback, or they were down to the third-string nickelback against Baltimore. So you also have to factor that as well. And Baltimore, of course, has their share of injuries. Geno Atkins is not going to play tonight. Mike Daniels is not going to play tonight. They're thin at the right tackle position, which is not great after giving up 155 yards against the Chargers. So those are all factors to throw in tonight. But, boy, it's really difficult for me. And I know other people do like Cleveland, but it's really difficult for me to lay, any amount of points. 3 points is difficult, let alone 6.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Dana. I could for me, it's a play either on the Bengals or no play at +6. Mitch, looking at Baker Mayfield, it wasn't a really good performance. Of course, they did face the Ravens, and of course, going through a physical battle against the Ravens, you got to wonder how the recovery time is going here to face the Bengals. You look at the Browns losing 3 turnovers, 3 of 12 on third down. I think, like as Dana said, it's pretty tough to make a case to take and lay in the points in this one.
I'm a game watcher, and I'll tell you what, there's not another team in the NFL that would have went into Baltimore and beat the Ravens last week the way they played. The Ravens looked exactly the same way that they did last year, except a little bit better because they got the new running back, Dobbins, out of Ohio State, who can really nail it from the goal line. And I have to say that I think, like I said, maybe the Seahawks could have given them a run, from the teams that I watched, but I don't think there was another team out there that was going to go into Baltimore and beat the Ravens. The Ravens have won all their openers by 30-plus points over the last 3 years, so nothing strange going on there in Baltimore. Baker Mayfield, well, he holds on to the ball way too long. I mean, he just holds on to it and holds on to it, but Geno Atkins out, Daniels out. I mean, who is going to stop the run? You're going to have to bring up some defenders from elsewhere, and that leaves some pretty high-priced wide receivers to run around. At Baker Mayfield, I thought that and I know this is it's not really a side topic, but it is kind of like it's an idea. I'm not a coach, and I don't get any input into the Browns' game plan. But you see the way the Rams got the ball out of Goff's hand really fast. If they could teach Mayfield how to do that, man, they might be in business because they got some tight ends, they got some wide receivers, and they got a power running game. Not just a running game, a power running game, which I love, right? 3 yards in a cloud of dust. They got two guys that can do it. And also, break it and take it to the house. So, the Bengals drafted first last year. You have to remember that as well. Number one overall. You don't get Joe Burrow drafting, in the mid-20s. They drafted number one overall. A.J. Green, of course, didn't play last season. It was nice to see him back. He's going to make any quarterback look a lot better.
All right, drive through, guys. Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. each time. A lot of picks coming. We've got picks from the hockey game. We got the NBA, Heat, and Boston, as well as a lot of Major League Baseball. We'll sprinkle in some college football. Speaking of college football, let's bring in our first guest of the show, Alex Smart. You'll find him here on our show many times. Alex, how you doing this afternoon?
Good, Tony. How's everything? Good.
Everything's going very well. Of course, I know we just talked about this Thursday night football game. Your thoughts here on this Bengals-Brown game? I know it's a bad game, but you're a professional bettor. You look at it the same lens you would any other game.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys. I mean, you've got to have more than two balls to be able to bet on Cleveland the way they play, and they're just, like at any number here. I'm not even sure Cincinnati can't pull off a straight up upset. So. That's where we're at with that game, and I'm looking at the total. I've been looking at the total since yesterday, so I'm on that total tonight.
All right, Alex Smart here joining us here on the drive-through. Alex, you're going to come in with a game. You're going to the added board here with the Citadel and Clemson. When I saw your game come in, I said, something's up. Something's up. Alex Smart's coming in with Clemson and the Citadel. So what's up, Alex?
Well, I wish it was something that was amazing, but when you watch Clemson play football, especially early on in the season, this team has a specific scenario that they set up for themselves, and that is stay healthy, give Lawrence some snaps, get it up his hands quick. Like Mitch said, 3 yards and pound it. They're going to get a lot more yards on the ground here today against Citadel, but they're just going to pound it, and they're going to pound it for the first half, and they're going to build a big lead. And for some reason with Clemson, I don't feel comfortable always laying a lot of points. And, they're more than capable of making this a 55-0 game. But at the same time, I'm kind of really pushing towards an under here. And the reason being is I noticed a little bit about Citadel. They have the ability to pound the ball a little bit. We all know Clemson's front seven's amazing. So, but they're going to slow this game down. They're going to try to slow this game down, and Clemson's not going to be in a hurry for anything because the bottom line here is to get snaps, get Lawrence in the game, just keep everybody healthy, and then at halftime, shut her down and just float into the locker room with an easy win. So I like the under here.
All right, Alex Smart coming in here with the under in this one between the Citadel and Clemson. Dan, I want to get your thoughts here on that Clemson game last week against Wake. Get the win, weren't able to cover.
Yeah, weren't able to cover. They got up 37-3, and then all the reserves came in, and that was it for the cover. But unfortunately, they were in control of the game. I thought it was well managed, and that even in a game that had that big of a spread, you could still say it was a managed game. I mean, Trevor Lawrence threw 28 times, pretty efficient. NTN had another 100-yard game. I think it was his 18th 100-yard game, 6 yards per carry, completely dominated the line of scrimmage. So, unfortunately, they didn't get to cover last week. I do expect a better effort, as far as getting towards that number. But, man, that number is consistently climbing up. I see 44.5 right now. And this is just a team that Clemson knows they're going to be able to handle. They've handled them 17 straight times. This Citadel team, it was a little bit of a slow start for the offense last week, but they were held scoreless for the last 30 minutes. So, it's Clemson or nothing here. I completely understand that, they can run the ball a little bit, and I would be on the under as well. But as far as this number is concerned, I don't want it to climb too much more, but there's nothing about Citadel that makes me want to be on their side.
All right, the drive-through here, joined by Alex Smart with Mitch and Dana. Alex, we're looking over your numbers over at Pick Dogs, and I got to tell you, my man, you're doing fantastic work. Over 1,900 units the last 30 days. This is the time to get on. We've got an NFL weekend, a college football weekend, a good time to pick up a package from you.
Yeah, we just want to keep on rocking and rolling, keep everything solid, and keep it simple, stupid. Yeah, real easy looking stuff out there. And this week, I'm jinxing myself, I'm sure. No, but this weekend looks like a very good card, and we're going to push ahead with some college football, some NFL. Of course, we've got this NBA action that's real interesting after watching that Denver. Can I just say one thing before we leave?
Absolutely.
The Clippers want out of this bubble. They're out of this bubble. You saw them here a couple of weeks ago. They wanted out of the bubble. They really did. They were the ones that were, what I've heard, they were the ones that were pushing LeBron towards like, yeah, you're right. Let's get the hell out of here. Let's do some political stuff. And you see what happened to them. Like, they did not play like the LA Clippers. They didn't look interested in the end. I don't know if anybody else thinks the same thing, but yeah.
Yeah, I got the same impression, but I think part of it too is the 7 games in 14 days. People keep looking at the Denver side, how they're fatigued, but Kawhi Leonard, we talk about load management, and you tell him to play 7 games in 14 days, and I don't think his mind is ready for it. I don't know if you thought anything differently, Mitch.
I thought that we saw the Clippers have fourth quarter problems all season long before they went into the bubble, before we had the COVID break, and it was the same Clippers when we got out. We saw it. I thought that the sharpest play of the entire playoff so far, and the entire NBA bubble so far, was that first Nuggets win, where they came out and it was just cold blooded, and you knew the Clippers were in big trouble in this series. This Nuggets team is a team that it's not the Nuggets. It's not like you're playing, Memphis or something. This was a Nuggets team that all season long, coming into the season, we all had them as our dark horse, that a team that could go all the way. They have a team that matches up with everybody really well. They can match up with the shooters. They can match up with the big guys. They can match up with everybody. And this is a team that is stacked. So not that big of a surprise. I think that, I've been fortunate enough to be on the right side of a lot of these NBA games. And, thankfully, the Clippers have helped me with 8.5-point spreads in playoff games on a consistent basis on a team that melts in the fourth quarter defensively. I mean, people say, how do you get 65%? It's like, well, the world needs more Clippers, That's all I could say.
Yeah, Mitch being a game watcher, number one in the NBA at Pick Dogs. And Dana, I know you like to look at body language psychology. What do you take from this Clipper team moving into next season, where you can, bet on them, bet against them in a situation where you can make money?
Well, we'll have to see what they do in the offseason, of course. But, it was interesting, you didn't find out until later, but after game 2, I guess, Harold and Paul George got into it a little bit on the bench. Something I didn't hear one whisper about until it was too late, unfortunately. And now that you're looking back at the pieces, you do kind of say, boy, there really was a lack of chemistry there, and there really was a lack of leadership team. And that, talk about going into next season. I mean, that's something that definitely has to be addressed.
I thought Harold's play.
Interested in being.
Yeah, Mitch.
I thought Harold's play made Clippers fans dream of getting Chris Kaman back. I mean, he was just hideous during the playoffs. He was he stunk He just stunk the joint up. I mean, I thought Chris Kaman could have been the worst Clipper of all time.
Oh.
But Harrell's performance there in the clutch pretty much was right. It was Kaman-esque. And, I thought that some of the bricks that were being laid were, it was like, where's Baron Davis to shoot into that triple team? It's like in brick to three, because that's exactly what we were seeing from the Clippers. It was just, and then Kawhi, I mean, for as great as he's been in the playoffs, when push came to shove, he was getting pushed around there. That Nuggets team is just, I mean, they're one to watch, and we know that the Lakers have had trouble covering spreads all season. Boy, this Nuggets team, they're not ready to back down from anybody just yet.
I got a question for Alex. The worst Clipper, is it Chris Kaman or Benoit Benjamin?
Oh,
you're going to break the tie.
That whole team, even Cowboys, embarrassed me.
You're going to break the tie because he says Kaman, I say Benjamin. You're going to break the tie, Alex.
I can't break the tie on that one.
Kaman's terrible.
All right.
Kaman, there's no worse than Kaman.
I know. Pretty hard to get worse than Kaman. That's no doubt about that. All right.
You think Chris Kaman, everybody cringes.
Oh, yes.
It's like you kind of try and look the other way.
That's tough. I mean, Mac guy. He's a Mac guy, All right. Alex, it's always great having your show. Have a great week. Continue that success, my man. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay, gentlemen. Have a good weekend. Take care.
All right, that was Alex Smart. You'll find him over at Pig Dogs Premium. The dude's always on top of the leaderboards, man. He's been at this for several years. Professional bettor first, handicapper second, as I always like to say. All right, at top of the hour, we got the Miami and Boston game 2. We've got line here with Boston laying 2.5. Total sits here at 208. Of course, it's Miami. Again, winning in overtime. We know about the block by Adebayo, the Butler clutch shooting, and they continue shooting the ball very well, Dana, here with the Boston favorite here. I think we have the statue. We have a statue, Dana. The statue, the Joe Flacco Dana of Dahl is back. All right, Mitch, your thoughts on that, on this Heat Celtic game?
I thought the Celtics had plenty of chances in that game one to win the game. I had the Heat, in that game, but I thought the Celtics had plenty of chances. As someone who had backed the Heat at the window, I was nervous at times in that game. But every time Jimmy buckets, I mean, he just rallies the troops. The issue here is, Kemba Walker said it. He's not playing well enough. It's like he had his opportunities, and no, you're not going to score every time out against a defensive team like the Heat. You're not going to score every trip down the court on them, but you got to hit your free throws. And Kemba's 1-2, from the line, and it's like, he's got to hit some threes. He's got to hit some free throws. He's got to do those things because Jimmy Butler is a matchup nightmare for these guys. They have problems with him. It's like there's no one that can do it. It didn't seem like they had anybody physical enough to guard Butler. We saw it right in the middle when he just said at the end of the game, I'm just going to drive it right down your throat and see if you can stop me, because I know you can't. Yes. And, so the Celtics, if they're not going to be able to stop Butler on that end, they're going to have to get points on their end. And it's like too many missed opportunities. And Tatum gets a little ball hoggish sometimes too.
Yeah, you look at the Celtics in the playoffs, who just under 45%. I see we have Dana back here. Dana, I look at the Heat, man, they have a lot of energy. They have a lot of gas in that tank. You see them running up and down the court, getting their shots. But I think Boston will benefit from a 6 or 7 game series if this goes deep. I guess we don't have Dana.
I thought the Heat were well rested. They had, basically they'd swept Indy. And only one loss against the Bucks. So they had, while the Celtics had gone, 7 against the Raptors, and we saw, the Nuggets in their first game against the Clippers, they came out flat after a 7-game series too. Tonight we'll probably tell the story. I think if the Heat win tonight, the series is over.
Yeah, that's possible. We're going up 2-0. Dana, I see some movement on your end. Yes.
I'm just good. I'm working with what I got, man.
All right. So
I don't have any answers.
Your thoughts in this game 2, Celtics and Heat?
Well, I thought Miami completely dominated them in the paint. It was 48-26 advantage. There was some talk about Gordon Hayward coming back, but he's been ruled out as well. And you're taking 16.5 points out of the lineup when he's not in there. And When you're playing, series like this, when both teams are extremely close, taking a major portion of your offense out of the lineup is, definitely not a positive. Kemba Walker continues to be cold in the Eastern Conference. He was 1 for 9 from 3 points or from outside the arc. And over his last 5 games, he just is not, a go-to player anymore. You can't shoot 5 from 34 from 3 and expect the Celtics to find success. I think Boston has struggled offensively. In the last 3 minutes of regulation over the last 3 games, they shot 4 for 14. And that's just telling me this may not be a team that you can lean on in a clutch or in clutch situations. When I you talk about the psychological factor in this. Miami is 7-3 in the last 10 meetings. They're 6-1 ATS in Boston, so they're not afraid. Never mind. I get it. They're in the bubble, but they're not. They're certainly not afraid to play this Boston team. And at 2.5 points, you're giving me 2.5 and a team that might win on the money line. I'm more than happy to side with Miami on this one.
I'm with you there, taking the points with Miami at plus 2.5. Guys, this is a drive-through Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. each time. Lots of picks coming. We've got the hockey game we're going to cover. We also have a lot of baseball. We'll sprinkle in some NFL as well. Let's bring another one of the pick dogs to the show. And El Ninos, welcome him to the show. El, how are you doing this afternoon, evening?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
Hey, can't complain. Looking forward to a good slate of NFL week number 2, but I've looked over at numbers over at Pick Dogs. You're having a pretty good start in your college football NFL, 5-1 when you combine them together. So pretty good start out there for you in the NFL.
Yeah. Again, that one loss was very disappointing. It sucks taking your first loss of the season like that, but that first loss is gonna come sooner or later. So I'll take it, move on, and hope for a better week 2, although week 1 wasn't bad.
Well, you always show your colors. I know you like the Dodgers, and I know you like the Lakers, so things are looking rosy for you back there. I suppose you like your Lakers' chances as they face Denver in the West Final.
I do, but as Mitch mentioned earlier, it's the spreads that are the tricky part. So, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a big line in Game 1. I thought I saw 7 there in Game 1. Now you're going to give us an NFL play. Alan, you're going to look at the Denver-Pittsburgh game. Early game, we've got Pittsburgh laying 7.5. Total sits at 4.5. Of course, concerned about Denver moving the football with their quarterback, their young quarterback, going against that Steeler defense. Steelers pick up a win at New York. How do you see this one?
Yeah, their defense looked great, and obviously their offense also did what they had to do to get the job done. Roethlisberger managed to connect with Juju a couple times, so for a couple touchdowns, and I expect more of that this game. And Connor's a great running back. Denver's got a good defense too, but I just don't think they match up too well with Pittsburgh offensively, and I think that'll make the difference. It's a touch. We're laying a touchdown here, and I see it kind of even minus 7.5 in some places. So this is one you don't want to wait on too much, I think. And some minus 7s are a little juiced, but I don't mind that too much. I think, Steelers are the right side here. And I think they do. They have another good game here. Yeah, Broncos. I don't know. I wasn't too impressed with what I saw. Definitely not on the offensive side. That game could have been a lot worse if the Titans made their field goals, and I don't see the Steelers missing that many of theirs, and I think they managed to get in the end zone more too. So I really like the Steelers in this spot, minus the 7.
Dana, looking at Denver's chances, they got to really use their defense short in this game. A lot of try to keep ball control here, because if you try to get in a throwing contest or move fast against Pittsburgh, could be trouble. Of course, if Ben has a bad day, that can be the equalizer there. So how do you see this Pittsburgh-Denver? Oh, we'll give it to Mitch. Pittsburgh-Denver, Mitch.
Well, I see things a little differently than Al does. I think I see a Pittsburgh team that played the Giants, who could be the worst team in football. Definitely one of my bottom 3 to 5 quarterbacks in the NFL, and Daniel Jones, who had the ball on the 3-yard line and couldn't get it into the end zone. And yeah, the Pittsburgh defense is great, and I thought Minkah Fitzpatrick. I said on my morning show, hey, probably a good prop bet for a pick 6 for Minkah in this game, because it's Daniel Jones, right? It's like the Giants have had some hideous quarterback drafts. Like, it's not like the Giants always hit these home runs. It's not like Eli Manning and Phil Simms are the trait of this, this how this organization goes. They've got Dave Browns in there. They've got a few other things going on in there at quarterback too, where they weren't quite as successful. I think, we're looking at the Steelers against the Giants, and meanwhile, the Broncos played the Titans, and they played them pretty tough. And this is a Titans team that was, 3/4 away from going to the Super Bowl last year. A little bit different story. I thought Ben Roethlisberger looked rusty at times. I think for them to, I don't see a blowout in this game. I just think that Drew Lock, I like the gunslinger mentality, and I think that he's the type of guy that can throw that pass down the field 60 yards with a defender on his ankles and with a guy in his face. And I know he can. And I'll tell you what they did is because they knew he could do that, they got him some jet wide receivers. I mean, not just oh, man, he's really fast. I mean, really fast. The best overall, the guy who I rated the best overall player in that draft in Jerry Jeudy. And I thought that Hamler was probably one of the most underrated players in that draft, who they also got. And we didn't see much of him on Monday night. But I'll tell you, he's good. We saw the two-headed monster at running back with Gordon and with Lindsey, and I think this Denver team is a team on the way up, and we know that John Elway never afraid to spend there in Denver on talent, and it's I could see Pittsburgh winning, but I could see some flaws in that offense too. It's certainly not going to run like clockwork. Connor's banged up. I don't know what his status is. Snell, a guy we saw carry a Kentucky team on his back, so we know he can play. We know he can play, but and we know their defense is going to be tough, but Denver, no shrinking violet. And boy, the Broncos playing a lot of close games. I mean, that 2-point game there wasn't just like a fluke, oh, wow, it was a 2-point game or whatever. You look at their schedule last year, what are they playing? 7 1-point games or something? Ridiculous. A ridiculous amount of games decided by less than a field goal. Getting 7.5 points with a team like that, oh, man, even in Pittsburgh, where the home of the crap call. The crap call was invented in Pittsburgh, right? The crap hometown call. It was. So I don't know. I struggle to lay points, and we know that, I know Vegas doesn't just hand out easy money on NFL Sunday. They don't. So I tread lightly there.
Yeah, we've seen it. What we've seen here is a big movement here, Al, on the total. It went from 43.5 down to 40.5, and I can tell you the general public doesn't bet unders. So this is definitely a sharp money move here. So your thoughts here on that total movement there, Al?
Yeah, I mean, it's two strong defenses. They're obviously they got good running backs too, so they're definitely going to try to establish that. And yeah, I said Jeudy was a great pickup too, obviously, and he looked great in game 1. But other than that, I don't know. I just think I liked what I saw better from Pittsburgh. And yeah, Connor practiced in full today, so he should be good to go. And yeah, it should be a good game. Obviously, it may be not as easy. I tried to make it sound, but I mean, I don't mind laying the 7 points here with the Steelers. I think Denver can play tough, and they do play tough. They always play tough. But I just think we got the better team with the Steelers, and I see them winning by at least a touchdown.
What's the score of a Denver versus Giants game, versus a Steelers versus Titans game? What's the scores? I'd say that it'd be probably pretty similar to what we saw going the other direction. And I'm not saying Denver is going to go into Pittsburgh, traditionally the home of the crap call, right? The home of the crap call. But this reminds me a lot of that Seattle-Pittsburgh game last year, where we knew it was going to be one of those weird games, where you just knew going in that it was going to be a Seattle Seahawks 18-16 type game. I mean, no one has the 18-16 like the Seahawks, right? I mean, it's what's the final score of the Seahawks going to be? It's you get the box pull, and it's oh, man, I got 6. And it's oh, it's the Seahawks. I'm in good shape, right? It's oh, I got a 4. And it's the numbers nobody wants. That's the Seahawks. And I could see the same thing here with Denver. I could see it in this game. I could see a safety in this game.
Yeah, very, very well. Good. All right, Al, we see your numbers over at Pick Dogs. You're doing very well in both NFL and college football. What do you have going on over at Pick Dogs? Tearing it up.
Yeah, been on a pretty hot run in the NBA. Got my playout for tonight and tomorrow. Also is ready to go too. Yeah, got some MLB plays tonight as well if you want to check them out on the premium side.
All right, check out El Nino's over at Pick Dogs, and you'll find his numbers up there. He's doing fantastic work. All right, El, as always, great having your show. Have a great day, and we will talk to you next week.
Thanks. You guys have a good one too.
All right.
Thanks for joining us.
All right, as
Thanks for
Alaninos
having
here, join us here on the show. Let me come back here and bring Mitch back on our. There we go. Got to get off my stream deck for this one. All right, Mitch, let's take a look. Let's take a look.
We're going
here.
off the menu.
We're going off the menu, my man. We're going off
This
the
is
menu.
like when this is like when you go out to dinner and Ruffalo's paying. It's like,
That's right.
I'd like the lobster 3 ways. I'm sorry, sir, that's not on the menu. Wow.
I mean, I suddenly forgot how to use a mouse. I mean, it's funny what this new product what happens.
Money. It's like money's no object, right? With Ruffalo paying for dinner. It's like,
Absolutely not.
would you
All
like
right.
anything more? Would you like anything else? As a matter of fact, we would.
Absolutely. All right. This is the drive-through every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. A lot more picks coming. Mitch, I'm going to look at this one here with Toronto and the Yankees. It's Mayweather and Tanaka, not Merriweather, not Mayweather. Merriweather and Tanaka here. 213 total sits here at 9.5. And, man, judging the lineup, these Yanks bats have been hot.
Yeah, these games have all gone over the total, and it's been pretty much the Yankees going over the total by themselves, and I don't see it being any different here. I'm not a big Tanaka guy. He's too erratic for me. You know, he can come out and he's the type of guy he could throw a no-hitter. He could also give up 15 runs, but the Jays have done nothing to slow these Yankees bats down at all, not even close.
No, they haven't come down whatsoever. And I would go there looking at the over at 9.5 in this one. It was originally Chase Anderson, but put Merriweather. But still, I like the over in this one between the Yanks and the Blue Jays. All right, guys, here on the drive-through, we'll continue to roll. Of course, we're efforting to get Dana Lane back on here, but we're going to go ahead and bring in Rod Zawacki, and we will let me get Rod ready here. Here we go. Rod, how you doing this afternoon?
Doing good. How are you doing, Tony?
I can't complain, and let's see here. Yes, I can complain. I don't know what I did. I got off the rails here. Let me find you, Rado. Here we go. There we go. I got you on the screen.
Alrighty, so
I know you're going to take a look here at this Dodger-Rocky game here. And, of course, the Rockies, this is a team that has been really struggling for runs. Dodgers come in. I think a little bit of a step down in class facing Rockies pitching. How do you see this one?
for me, I see this game here. Just like you said, the Rockies are definitely struggling to score runs. The last 5 games between these two, the under is 4-1 in those meetings. Colorado, the last 6 games is 5-0-1 to the under. My selection is the under 12. Pitching, he pitched against the same Dodgers August 22nd. He gave up 3 runs, 4 hits in 6+ innings of work, which is fine by us. That still keep us way under the number. And this Dodger team, for me tonight, are they really going to be interested in getting themselves another win? When you got their manager last night who was saying that them making the playoffs caught them by surprise. They weren't ready for that, and they were just focused on winning that series. He also says that all clinchings are worth celebrating. And I quote, I think we'll travel on the plane, but we definitely should be having some drinks and celebrating this making the playoffs. So this Dodgers team has definitely had a few drinks on the way to Colorado, that's for sure. So I like the under 12 in this game tonight.
All right, that's Rod Zawacki here going here with the under 12 in this one between the Dodgers and the Rockies. I like that. Dana, you're with me here, Dana? I think we had Dana. I guess we lost him. Mitch, your thoughts here on Dodgers and Rocks?
I don't even hear Mitch.
Yeah, I think we lost Mitch's sound there for a second. All right, so I'll just go with you here. Let's put it back. It's been one of those shows today. What can I tell you? All right, let's go here. Looking at this Dodger Rocky game, you know, I kind of leaned a little to the run line. I'm not a big fan of Julio Urias, but I just think the Dodgers offense can really come through here and just hit this Kyle Freeland. You know, one thing. Justin Turner back in the lineup. You know, it's over 450 hits. He hits Freeland. That's his average. And I just think the Dodgers perform better offensively with his bat. And, you get Urias out of there. At least the bullpen, I like the bullpen for Dodgers a little better. And, of course, one thing looking at this Rockies bullpen, Rod, is they've just been terrible at home with an ERA over 8.
I do see that. But like I said, this Dodger team, how motivated are they coming in here to pound the heck out of the Rockies tonight? I just don't see it. No. I think Urias stays in the game a long time and shuts them down. Rockies are definitely not going to continue to this total. And like I said, Freeland's already pitched to these same Dodgers, and he held them to 3 runs just on August 22nd. I think for me, I think Freeland is the key. Freeland, his last 10 starts have all went under the last 7. I see Mitch is going take the Rockies for a little bit. Exactly. Yeah. There is all the values on the Rockies. I take Rockies for a little shot too with that plus money.
Yeah, the Rockies there. They were button heads there with Rod and Mitch here. He says take the Rockies in this one, and he says, let's see here, Rockies dog of the day. That's right. If you check out sports Mitch's YouTube channel over at Pick Dogs, he puts up his dog of the day, and that's the way he's going there with that one. And you know what? We're going to talk NHL since I have you here. That was going to be our next transition, and maybe I could get you in on this conversation, Rod, as we look here at the Islanders and the let's see here. We get it up here in a second here. And the Philadelphia Flyers, and we'll get the odds up on this one here. We've got Tampa Bay here, big favorites, $1.75, and the total sits here at, let's get the total, money line total is 5. It's at 5.
Total's at 5? I think it's up to 5.5.
5.5 in some spots. Yeah, we're seeing it juiced up a little bit.
For me in this game, I'm actually leaning to the over. I actually think we're actually going to see some goals in this game, which is rare. Usually this series has been close and tight, but I think we get the over tonight. I think we see some goals between these two.
All right, Rod Zawacki says take it over the total. Rod, what do you have going on over at Pick Dogs right now as we get close to the top of the hour?
I believe I still got a 6-pack up there. I've got the NFL game. I've got the side and the total in that one. I've got the side in the NBA game. I have the side in the NHL hockey, and I still have a couple MLB plays in there as well. So I still got a 6-pack up. You can go on the website and grab it. $29.95.
All right, Rod. As always, check them out over at Pig Dogs. Have a great night, and we'll talk with you tomorrow.
You as well, Tony. Hi, Mitch. See you in the morning.
Can you hear me?
Oh, hey, now
I can hear you now. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh, all right. Good. I didn't need to hold my card up. Dog of the day, baby. Kyle Freeland. Hometown product.
Hometown product, says Mitch. That's the way to go. All right, Rod. Have a nice night. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
With the drunk Dodgers, because their manager says, "Go ahead and drink. We need to celebrate." So
celebrate.
I like that even better.
Let's hope.
Go ahead.
Let's hope it's not an early elimination in the playoffs, because that would not be good for LA at all. We've seen that before. It's always been a disappointment.
Tony, what do you think of Kershaw with the shortened season now in the postseason? Do you think we see a different Kershaw than we've seen?
One thing we'll find out is it physically or mentally. This is what we're going to find out. Is it between the ears? But one thing to note here with the Dodgers is they use up their bullpen a lot during the regular season, so the bullpen won't be as heavily used when we get into the playoff situation. That's the thing. But we've seen the Dodgers, like these Baez and the players they put in there. And I just saw Kelly is ready to pitch again. I don't want to ever see him again, but I guess he's back with the team. It makes no sense to me. I am not confident in the Dodger pitching in playoffs. It's very having sat. I was there several years ago. I think it was 2009 when Kershaw had that meltdown against the Phillies. That's when it all started. He had that horrible inning. They were up 3-0. He walked the bases loaded. It was just a walk-a-thon. And it all started there for Kershaw. I think it might just be, sad to say, it could be between the years.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to find out because this year it's in the bubble, so it's going to be just a little bit different situation.
Yeah, a little different situation. They'll be in Texas, and I think Kershaw's from that part of town, if I'm not mistaken. So
he is, and I guess one's in Houston and one is in One's in Arlington?
Arlington, in Houston, and I believe it's San Diego and in LA. The American League's going to be in LA and San Diego. Then they're going to push the National League to Texas. So I think the World Series. Actually, no, I don't know what they're going to do with the NLCS, but I think they're just kind of round by round. But what do you think about this?
On the morning show, that would lead right into a full blown taco discussion. It's like you got the fish taco, you got the shrimp taco.
Who has the best stadium food, Mitch? That would come down to that,
Anywhere but Wrigley, I think. Wrigley Field. It's like the 1984 commemorative Ryan Sandberg pretzel. It's like from the '84 season. It's vintage.
All right, let's take a look at this one, Mitch. This Mets and Phillies game that will go off at the top of in a few minutes here. We've got we have in this one Lugo and Nola. Ellen Nola about $1.11, $1.20 in some places. Looks like a short price. Lugo is on the mound here. Lugo converted closer, but doesn't go deep in games.
We had major inverse line movement in this game. I started talking about it on this morning show, and I already had it in as a premium pick for today on the Mets. But this line went from the Phillies minus 135. They're down to minus 115 with 29% of the public on the Metropolitans here. There is heavy inverse line movement in this game. So if you're a big believer in inverse line movement or that somebody knows something, then the Mets might be for you like they are for me. It's like, I don't know. I just, sometimes somebody does know something. And this line has been creepy all day long. It's kind of just, it was 135 last night. I woke up this morning, it was 125 when we did the morning show. And it's been going down and down and down. I thought the total here at 7.5 is what kind of really freaked me out a little bit, though, because, yesterday we had, we had DeGrom, who left early in that game, and Wheeler, two better pitchers, and the game went over, so it wasn't, and the thing is, it didn't go over because of the starters or Waka even. It went over because of the bullpen again. The same thing, it's the same old story for the Phillies. I mean, same story.
Yeah, it's absolutely the same story for the Phillies. Guys, this is the drive-through, joined here by Mitch, and we've got still more free picks coming. Let's go and bring in a Shane Mickle. He's got to play tonight for us. Tigers Indy going off pretty soon. Shane, how you doing this afternoon?
Lost his sound.
No, I think I've got his sound. I think I got to find up here. When you get off Stream Deck, it's a whole new world. Here we go.
I'm off the deck.
How you doing, my man?
Good. How about you guys?
Oh, I just can't complain. It's one of those days. You're going to be looking at this Indians-Tigers game. Of course, Shane Bieber's on the hill against Myers. How do you see it?
Yeah, good pitching matchup. I think people are a little scared off maybe on this total because Myers' ERA is a little higher on the higher side, but each of the last two starts he's been really good. And then looking at Bieber, I think 9 starts he's made this year, and the under is hit on 8 of them. So we're going to roll with the under in this one. And the Indians' bats are also terrible, so they shouldn't be putting up many runs in this one. And I also do have a small play on that game on the Tigers' money line, just a value play on that one.
Mitch, Shane Bieber's been solid here. This young Mize kid, he doesn't go very deep in his games. If you look at the runs allowed, not a whole lot, but his ERAs are high because they take him out after 3 or 4 innings, and then of course you get in that Detroit bullpen. But one thing about it, like Shane was saying, that Indians lineup hasn't been very solid this year.
They've been terrible. This was a team that was competing for the American League Central last week, and now they're out of it. They're looking for one of those at-large spots. And if anyone wants a real treat tonight, and can watch NBA basketball and NFL football without the sound, pick up this MLB app, and this is non-paid endorsement. Pick yourself up this MLB app off iTunes or the Android store. Go to the Detroit Tigers broadcast of tonight's game, because when Casey Mize pitches, it's the best. It's like there's no better commentary play-by-play than the Tigers broadcasters when Casey Mize pitches. This guy's on such a strict pitch count, and it's like, his fastball goes from 95 down to 94, and it is like, oh my God, it's like we gotta get someone up in the pen. It's like Casey, they carry this he is the future of the organization. He's got to be 20 years years old or something. It's like they have him like with the kick gloves, and it's like, plus he tends to get a little wild. He's kind of like Luke LaRouche in Bull Durham, where it's like he's going to be really good, but he's gonna be a rookie on a lot of those pitches too. So I just love listening to the Tigers broadcast when Casey Mize pitches, and it's just the other guy that's great when they play the Twins and Maeda pitches, because he has such that slow fastball. They just love it. That is like his fastball is so slow. They're like, he's got a 91-mile-an-hour fastball. This guy. It's like, how come we can't hit him? It's like, and the other guy's always like, because his other pitches are so good. That's why. It's like, oh yeah.
Exactly.
I'm a fan first, so it's like those are the things that is why I love the game. It's like I love finding an angle and betting it, but sometimes it's just those part of the games.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you there, Shane, with that under in that Tigers and Indians game. Shane, looking at your numbers in the NBA, you're on Mitch's tail. Mitch number 1, Shane number 2.
Yeah, he took back over that top spot, but I'm trying to take that back. Yep, and tonight I've got NBA play, MLB play in that Rockies game, and then side in the NFL game in a 3-pack.
Right. A 3-pack from Shane Mickle is doing fantastic work over at Pick Dog, so keep an eye on him over there, guys. He's tearing up. Shane, it's always great having your show. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, sounds good. Have a good weekend, everyone.
All right, back here on the drive-thru, guys. We're here every Monday through Friday. Our show starts at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Of course, Mitch, a little different than the morning show, as we kind of give you a quick rundown of the games that are about to tip off, and we'll get plays and have a lot of the Pick Dog cappers. But in the morning, they can listen to you, Chris, Rod, and Brian Bittler at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time for the morning show.
Yeah, I love doing the morning show. It's like it doesn't always go smooth either. That's for sure. I just got an email from Dana, and he's apologizing. He's in the process of buying a house, so he needs all new equipment and stuff like that. So that's what's going on there. He's going to Best Buy. He's going to try and get some power set up. But yeah, our 10:30 show, it's like we don't always talk about sports. Sometimes I talk too much about other stuff. I kind of carry that over here, but we are authentic, and no one will ever say that we're not. We certainly don't get them all right. Matter of fact, some days it seems like we don't get anything right. But I think we do the best that we can. We have a good time, and I think we have thousands of people that watch us every day, and I appreciate everyone that tunes into this show, that show. And if you can, just smash that like button. It costs you nothing. It takes you half a second, and it just helps us an absolute ton. If you're watching us on the mobile device, the way that you do it is you hit the little X. You hit the little X in the chat right there. I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do it. So there's an X right here at the top of the chat. It will take you down to this menu, and then you just hit the like button, the thumb up, boom. And then you just go right back. You hit this down again, and then you're right back to the comments. So it's that easy. That's literally how long it takes right there. That's literally how long it takes. So, I mean, it helps us a ton. It's what keeps all this stuff, making it so it's like other people have told me you should take your shows and put them behind a paywall. They have YouTube has these things where you can have like members, right? Memberships and stuff. So I could like sell a subscription for like $4 a month or $10 a month and have you guys subscribe to watch our shows. That's not fun. It's like, that's not what we're about. It's like I had somebody, I mean, it's easy for me to get off topic. I had somebody pitch me this idea that if you have ad blocker on when you come to my site, that something comes up and it says you got to turn your ad blocker off to come to my site. It's like, you don't have to turn your ad blocker off. You don't want to watch ads? You want an ad blocker? That's fine. But it's like that helps us pay for things. And it's like, well, you can make it so they don't have to buy anything or whatever, that they maybe hit a Facebook like or something like that. It's like, I don't want any forced Facebook likes or, iTunes reviews. If you guys want to leave a review, then leave a review. But it's like, I'm not going to force you. I told them their product was cancer. I guess we lost a friend. But, I'm not known for sugarcoating it, and I never will. Everybody, I heard the interview with Jerry Seinfeld with Howard Stern, during the COVID break. And Jerry said, you should always have a picture of your idol on your set if you have like a set like I have. So, here's mine right here. And, this is Howard Cosell. And it's like, Just tell it like it is, man. It's like, and own it. So, and that's what we do on the morning show. We all do. And, we found out that Ruffalo made shrimp po' boys for dinner last night.
Wow.
It's like, you got a fryer later in your kitchen? It's like, how the hell did you do that? It's like, it's not even fair. It's like, I mean, if you went to Ruffalo's house, you walk in his kitchen, he's got a fryer later. Is anyone surprised? It's like, he said he used the Dutch oven.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
boiled the oil in the shrimp in the Dutch oven.
Nice. Mitch, we're looking here at your play. You told me to pick a game for you. You know which one I picked, right? College football one, Miami and Louisville. So we'll get
absolutely
Mitch's pick on this one. We're looking at the line here. Louisville laying 2.5. Total sits at 64.5. I see a 65 in some places. Of course, both teams come in 1-0. Of course, Derek King only averaged 6.6 yards per pass attempt, but it was his first game, a new offense. They're going with the spread there in Miami, Mitch. And, of course, Louisville with Scott Satterfield, they've shown improvement, and they got a pretty good quarterback play last week.
Satterfield is just awesome. And, Louisville always has the Miami pipeline of players. They had Teddy Bridgewater, and they've had, just at Lamar Jackson. Just a ton of Miami players have gone through the pipeline at Louisville. They always have a Miami guy on staff. It's like, if you're at Louisville, you have a Miami guy on staff, and it's Maurice Crum right now is who's on staff at Louisville, an ex-Miami linebacker. So, Louisville's going to be loaded with talent. Miami has always struggled at Louisville. It's a place where they have struggled for a very, very long time, since the Jeff Brom days at quarterback. I mean, this is how long they've struggled there. Miami, I don't know what year it was, 15 years ago, they went out and stomped the bird before the game, and they've never won there since. And, it'd be interesting to see, what kind of, what Manny offers. And this is where we're going to find out exactly what these Canes are made of and what Manny Diaz's future at Miami is going to be, because he's got Louisville. And then you could say, well, they were looking ahead to Florida State. No way. Not acceptable excuse. Derek King has the NCAA record of most consecutive games with a touchdown pass and a running touchdown in the same game. He's done it for a season and change every single game. I don't think that Louisville defense is going to prevent him from doing that. His receivers just don't look like Miami receivers, though, and that is a problem. But the running backs, as we talked about last time out, absolutely loaded, right? Absolutely. Cam Harris, we talked about him on the show. I mean, he was a home run hitter in that game. Matter of fact, he took one to the house, right? He found the crack. He was gone. We saw that Miami was way deep at running back. They were just wheeling them in one after another. And, but the defense was bending against that UAB, and I'm going to guess they're going to bend against Louisville. I think we're going to see a lot of points in this one. Not something that I typically like to see as a Cane fan, but something that I think we're going to have to accept in this one. This defense is young. There's no seniors on this team except for King, the transfer. So you got to figure that this game is probably going to go over the total.
It says over a total in this one. Of course, with the offense going more up-tempo, you're looking for more possessions, more time on the field for that Miami defense. How do you think over time Miami's going to adjust to that?
Well, I think you're going to rotate the stock, and that's what you got to do. You rotate those defensive linemen. Miami kind of, has always had the talent and the depth to be able to rotate those defensive linemen. And like I said, we're going to find out what Manny Diaz is made of. We saw the offensive coordinator basically almost look like the head coach on the sideline during the game against UAB. Manny Diaz certainly wasn't front and center. It was Rhett Lashley, who, we talked about last week, and he did bring that power spread, right? I mean, we saw it. It was boom, 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 boom. And it was like the receivers weren't getting up fast enough. They pulled him over to the sideline and get someone else there that's going to get up faster and get to the line and try and gas out that defense. I think both defenses are going to be gassed here. I think this is going to be a very high-scoring game, especially with, moving it. I don't understand how you move this one into the ABC primetime spot. I guess it's just such a light schedule this week again that, next week it will be, Miami, Florida State is slated for that time slot. But with the SEC starting, maybe they change things up. I'm not really sure. I'm really excited, though, that the SEC is starting up. I'm excited that we're going to see, Oklahoma not playing against Missouri State. I'm excited that we're going to see, the Big Ten has decided to play. And, to me, I just, the Big Ten probably, they probably saw the checks, that they weren't getting. That's really what it takes. It's sad that it takes that, but I like that. I like that some of the players from the Big Ten schools, like McCaffrey is like, I'm transferring. I'm not putting up with this anymore. Mm-hmm. And he might not be the best quarterback in the world, but at least he's got the name, and he's willing to make a stand.
Yep, and of course, the thing, people all thought it was the governor out here. They're letting the professional teams play. Dodgers are playing there. USC and UCLA can play. It's the California teams. It's up to them. And I think at some point, the Pac-10 will have to play. I think that'll happen.
They absolutely have to play in the Mountain West as well, and the MAC conference. It's like everyone's going to play, and it's going to be interesting now that the Big Ten is getting it out the door. Just a month behind everybody else. And normally with that month off in between Thanksgiving and a shortened schedule, they're going to be able to catch up, as far as the scheduling goes and have a championship. But I think the one thing that could come out of this COVID thing for college football is a true playoff system where each conference is represented in the playoffs with their conference champion, and then at-large teams, and it's going to be a mess, right? That large thing is going to be a mess, but at least all conference champions will be in the playoff.
All right, that's Mitch. I'm Tony T. Here on the drive-thru, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, every Monday through Friday on Pick Dogs and Sports Chat Place YouTube channel. We're going to give you an update on this Game 2 between Baltimore and the Tampa Bay Rays. They're winding down Game 1. Rays up 3-1 in the bottom of the 7th inning, so Orioles last ups here. But in Game 2, I saw a listed pitcher here for Baltimore, Bruce Zimmerman. Likely Game 2 starter for Tampa Bay will be Trevor Richards. Looks like it'll be a bullpen game, but Tampa Bay, Mitch laying $1.75 here in Game 2 with two youngsters on the hill.
The Rays just have not been playing that well. And Baltimore, we cashed in really big last night with them with Keegan Aiken at plus 150. This Baltimore's team's no pushover. I don't think it's going to be so easy for them to be swept. So that's just too big of a number for me. But you can see the Mets already getting started, nobody out, and ducks on the pond here.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you on that San Francisco game, the Giants up 6-4, 5 runs here. They've put across. They were down 4-1 after 2. And Tyler Anderson is tough to bet him because he's been roughed up. But Seattle, again, struggling here in this one. The Giants surging here, Mitch, up 6-4.
Absolutely. Kemba Walker taking his words to heart here out on the court, opens it up with a big 3 to get the scoring going in this Celtics Heat game.
Absolutely, guys. And don't forget our show tomorrow. We'll have coverage of that Laker game, and there'll be a lot more. We'll have some football as well tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. It's time for my play. We're going to college football, SMU in North Texas. I'm going to take the Mean Green at plus 14. It was a good debut for Jason Bean, 3 passing touchdowns. I know it was against an FCS team, but they really moved the ball effectively. But, SMU opened up with Texas State. I was not impressed. They didn't cover in a 31-24 win. Texas State is not a very good football program. Bobcats broke in a first-year starting quarterback. They had no tight ends because of COVID. They had offensive linemen lining up at the tight end position. And, of course, remember Sonny Dykes? He lost his job in California because he pretty much played no defense. He was just an all-offense coach, and I'm afraid SMU may head back in that direction. I'm not comfortable laying double digits here. Mean Green did beat the Mustangs at home in 2018. My play here will be at North Texas at plus 14. Mitch, have you been taking a look at the big card in college football? I know over on Sports Chat Place, I saw some activity there with you and Chris.
Yeah, Chris and I decided to do some videos for college football just to get the Sports Chat YouTube channel back in action. It's been a while. I kind of took about a year off, at least from this, since I got Sports Chat back, I haven't really addressed the YouTube channel outside of the Dog of the Day and broadcasting these live shows. So I just thought it was time to add some early week action in the NFL and college football. I'll be adding some NBA games in there as well. And, going on with Pick Dogs, just kind of that day before, last minute stuff is what we're going to do. So, I'm disappointed in the cancellation of the Charlotte UNC game. I thought it was easy money there with the plus 30 on Charlotte, and it was definitely one of my circle games. But I think we still have a good card. It's getting better every week. We went from Central Arkansas, Austin Peay to, Miami, Louisville. And it's like, it's progress. And then, next week the SEC starts. So, it's only going to get better and better every single week.
Yeah, but there are already lines for some next week. Florida, Ole Miss, Florida 10.5-point favorite. Auburn 7.5 against Kentucky. Georgia 23.5 against Arkansas. Alabama 21.5 at Missouri. Texas A&M 30 against Vandy, and Tennessee 3 against South Carolina. The lines are out for next week's SEC, Mitch.
Yeah, pretty interesting lines there. A lot of big numbers. I think that Florida game, the line is just a little too high. The expectations out of the Gators, who have lost a ton. off that defense, just a little too high.
All right, so he's Mitch. I'm Tony T. And, of course, that was our show for tonight. And don't forget, tomorrow, Mitch will be back with the Pick Dogs, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Of course, Mitch will have that big Lakers and Nuggets Game 1. And, of course, you'll have a lot of football and baseball talk tomorrow, right?
Yeah, we're going to kind of give an early look at college football Saturday. Jeter will be on doing some NASCAR. And, we'll have, our standard, whatever it is that we do on there. I don't know. We'll find out what Ruffalo's got on tap for Sunday brunch.
And don't forget to check those notifications because, Mitch, you're going to be doing some halftime. Maybe the Heat Boston will have some halftime. I know you do that during the NBA playoffs and, of course, during the weekend. Yeah,
I'll be doing halftime tonight during the Bengals-Browns game. I do it for every primetime NFL football game. We've done pretty well so far this season. And, I usually do it on, NFL Sunday, the early games as well. I haven't been doing as much during the hoops, but I'll definitely be on for the Browns-Bengals halftime. I got a lot of I'm in the studio now. I'm going to be here for a little while. So I got a lot of videos for tomorrow. I believe we have a 16-game Major League Baseball card. We've got that Lakers-Nuggets game as well.
Big card tomorrow. So check out Mitch. Check out the Pick Dogs and Sports Chat Plays channel. Subscribe and check those notifications because Mitch will go live for those halftime shows. All right. Great show today, Mitch. Let's put for all the Pick Dogs on camera and give everyone a wave goodbye. And we'll see you guys tomorrow.